What's up, everybody? This is Red Line Radio. We're talking about Big News Morgan today. Big news. You guys let us know how you guys feel about Big News Morgan. What do you guys think he is going to do next in the plot? Do you think we're going to see him and Vivi soon? What do you think is going on with that? I want to know your guys' thoughts. I'm Corey. That's Kev. We talk about One Piece a lot. This is the Red Line Radio, and today it's Big News Morgan's day.
hmm
Kev, who is Big News Morgans for those at home?
So we mainly know him as the president of the World Economy newspaper, and we also know him as one of the emperors of the underworld, which is quite interesting. Because the underworld is still generally a secret to us. We know the people who are a part of it, but we don't know how close the inner workings are. We know Joker, Doflamingo is a part of it, and people like that. But it's kind of hard to imagine that it's not good, always good stuff. But we're going to be focusing mainly on the World Economy newspaper with this one because that's what we mainly know him for. He is we assume, a human that has eaten the Tori Tori no Mi model albatross, so he's always in his hybrid form.
Which is very
And
strange. We have never actually seen him in his human form to the point that people think he is the one of the members of the uh not Rocks
mhm,
Pirates. Um
Roger
Roger
Pirates, yep,
Pirates, yeah, thank you.
Mr.
Um
Mamora.
Mr. Mamora, yeah, thank you. He hides his face, he wears a hat, kinda has a get up that you can see Big News
Yep,
Morgan's wearing. So that's
yep.
the main theory. But Big News Morgans himself has never revealed his face. He actually is very adept at fighting. We find out because
hmm
when is it CP agents infiltrate his big zeppelin that he does the whole like journal, you know, his
hmm
daily bugle. The agents busted in there and he started fighting. You're like, okay, this dude's adept. He's not just like writing papers. Like he can actually defend himself. Mixed with the idea that he can control birds makes him
Very true.
pretty formidable. We don't have a lot of bird type zones, and he does seem to use seagulls to deliver these. And I don't know if he's paying them. I know that One Piece animals are like, they have personality and thoughts and stuff like that. So I don't know how that's going, but I'm thinking control.
I've I've had the same question ever since I saw one of the seagulls argue with Nami, and they were arguing over the price of the newspaper
I just saw
because
that
it
episode.
went up in, oh really? Yeah, it went up in price, and he's just like, nah, girl, give me more money, and like, so it's either they are being controlled, or you're right, that it's the One Piece trope that, just like I mean, we're friends with animals.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, that's just, I
there's
understand that.
hundreds of animals and there's hundreds of animals in One Piece that are just like humanistic.
hmm
But yeah. That being said, I think the controlling seagulls, or at least has like more dominion over like avians and birds, is like okay, that's reasonable. You know what I mean? If I saw a guy with like a fucking uh, a zebra fruit, I'd expect him to be able to talk to zebras eventually. You know what I mean? Or at least
Agreed.
hang out with them. So I don't know. I'm thinking there's eyes in the sky, and they're all his.
Yeah, and notably, he was not. Him and Big Mom were not put down from Luffy's Conqueror's Hockey Blast. So, I mean, very interesting. He probably has great willpower. Let's get into kind of his history, because at the age of 15, Morgans was already a reporter and wrote an article about the God Valley incident. And even though he only reported on Monkey D. Garp, which is why I don't like Monkey D. Garp's heroics this day, he left out the native hunting competition, which flips this all on its head. So he's spinning a narrative, going back to our comment at the top. He is puppeteering the world. For what reason? Because we'll go over it. He doesn't always go one way. It's not like he's a government mouthpiece. eventually,
But
like
I
he'll
mean,
put out the D initial, and they're like, "No, we didn't want that. What are you doing?"
I'm
And it's
News
like,
D Morgans.
yeah.
Morgan's D News. Yeah, I think when he's 15, he writes us about the God Valley incident. It lines up with that theory that he is on the Roger Pirates. Maybe he's
Hmm.
not on the Roger Pirates, but maybe he stayed on the ship, much to like Odin, where maybe he was at God Valley. Maybe he was a slave. Maybe he was just there. Maybe he was on the pirate ship already. But he started writing about it. He was like, "Oh, this is crazy. Somebody's got to document this." Start writing, start writing, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna publish this." World government saw it. Like, no, we're gonna take out about half of this because we can't just have you writing this. So, here are your options: we kill you, or how about this? We give you your whole economic journal. We give you your whole publication,
Hmm.
your whole team, and all this money. All you gotta do is write what we tell you to. And when we make bounties, you just put them in the paper. You just put the bounties in the paper, like ads in a comic book. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's. I'm saying yes to that.
and him staying mobile the way he does is pretty good because this keeps him um, out of harm's way for the most part. He has the CP agents to deal with from time to time, it appears. But
He doesn't
I
have
mean, the fact,
Vegapunk's issue.
yes, well, but we also know that mentioning D in front of the Celestial Dragons is, or in front of the Gorosei, is instant murder. So the fact that he's putting D on these newspapers should also be instant murder, but I feel like he's avoiding it or he talks his way out of it every time. I don't know how that
Well, I
happens
think that
because
would just cause too much suspicion because it's like, okay, like, what's with all these?
mm,
Look, like, these from 2 days ago, for some reason, like, half these pirates have, like, a D initial. What's that about? And that's the one question you don't want. People saying,
yeah,
what's that about? But if you just, like, okay, well, fuck it, we'll just do damage control. People are just, oh, that's some people's name. And then move on with their day. Like, they still have people working in offices and shit. Like, they still got, like, probably, like, insurance companies that people got to work at and shit. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
So when we first meet him though, it's at the Whole Cake Island arc where he's being escorted by oh, what's her name? We were just talking about her, Stussy. He's there to report on the wedding between Sanji and Pudding in the newspaper, and he's also probably pretty good friends with Big Mom since he's a leader of the underworld.
I would think
But
so. He definitely has connections. I wouldn't be surprised um, if he knows Frankie. Frankie wasn't on Whole Cake, but I wouldn't be surprised because Frankie has when we meet Frankie, he's working with the underworld, like the Frankie gang or
yep,
whatever they were called. Like they're underworld. I forget what they were called, but I don't want to say bounty hunters because that's what Zoro is, but they were basically affiliated with the underworld. They were doing racketeering, all kinds of shit. But
yeah,
so he's definitely has a connection to probably both Stussy and Big News Morgans. Less Stussy probably.
and and don't get me wrong, guys. Like when I say underworld, we know that's the world government's point of view name for something else. So, yes, it is the underworld, the same way Luffy is the worst pirate to ever walk the earth and he's a terrorist and
We're talking
Loki's
about the underworld. We're talking about cartels and traffickers, like the shit
well, sure.
Doflamingo from.
Well, some of them will be that because that's just people in general. But I mean like where you have a corrupt government, you do need people to still get their insulin on time. You still need food to
Yeah,
a certain village. And it's like if the government can't provide that, you do need to have somebody who smuggles it into the country just so you can survive. So we may see that yes, there is some bad parts of it where we're selling guns and stuff, but there will be some good parts where it's like, no, we're actually helping people because the government doesn't give a shit. And
that's
it's
a good
like,
point. That's a good
yeah.
point. And like, oh well, I guess you need us now. Here, you can use
Yeah,
my
yeah,
underground tunnels that I made. We taxing though. You got to tell them where you got it.
Hey, exactly.
Yep.
You know a criminal is going to get their 10%, but at the end of the day, they're at least offering it to you, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. But with Big News Morgans, you don't know who's. He has his own allegiance to himself.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
seem to be on the world government side. He doesn't seem to be on the pirate side or the revolutionary side. He just wants to report what happened. But I'm like, up into what point is that true? Like, what is going to happen to make you take action? Much like Dragon, I think there's going to be something very significant that Big News Morgans does, and it's not just reporting what happens. I don't think it's just going to be reporting the battle that happens. Like, if that was going to be something, then I don't know. I feel like we can't have another God Valley. So there's not going to be something like crazy like that that's going to happen that's going to jar the world. And Vegapunk already jarred the world. So it's like, what is he going to do that like is another step above?
And this brings me back to if we've kind of theorized that Stussy is a go between Morgans and Vegapunk. But what we see is Morgans has the ability to write the narrative, but Vegapunk has the ability to go to every village in the world. He's able to broadcast. If you have the right narrative with Morgan, the right person with Luffy, and the right technology to broadcast to the world, where we've seen this before, Marineford, Buggy took center stage, took the only camera, and made it about himself.
Yeah.
So we could see it again, but with Luffy, and that's a better person for it. Like, that's somebody you can spotlight, and there's not a problem. He has a good moral compass. He's gonna take care of people. That's just who he is.
You just gotta hear him talk once, like while he's fighting. Like
Yeah.
the stuff he says out loud, you're like, oh wait, no, I think I'm on this guy's side.
Yeah. But like you said, I can't put all my eggs in that basket because you have the same person who is putting the sole blame of the murder of Cobra on Sabo. Now, I do think that has its pros as well in inflaming a revolution, but putting a murder on somebody who doesn't belongs to just kind of feels wrong as well.
Yeah, and it's like, to what extent? And then it's like, okay, so are you on the side of the revolutionaries, and is this used to, what does this do for the world?
Mm-hmm.
This antagonizes a country, antagonizes other countries against the revolutionaries. But why do you want the revolutionaries in the countries fighting?
Well, I do remember that when Sabo got to La Lucia, he was deemed a hero
Oh
by
yeah,
some of the people.
because
So there is a pro to it, but I
mm,
guess my morality is like, bro, I didn't like at least if I kill somebody, then you can call me a killer, but don't put a body on me that wasn't mine. Like, that's crazy.
unless the body is a celestial dragon's, and you want to
Yeah.
show that these people can be killed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or
maybe
political narrative like
yeah.
this, where it's like
So maybe
you gain army,
yeah.
you gain an army here. Go ahead.
Specifically, you only got to see one person. Like they always like in movies stuff. Like, oh, he bleeds. You know what I mean? Like you only got to see one person, hear one person die to be like, he killed a celestial dragon. Like look, he's still like a pirate. Like he's still doing things. Like they're probably trying to kill him. So it's like, if he killed a celestial dragon, what about this drunk, like marine that hangs out in my small town that like abuses people? Like, well, we can take
Yeah.
him out. So then, bam, that's just a domino effect. All of a sudden, you're taking out more marines, and all of a sudden, there's more like right. So maybe he's trying to entice more revolutions.
And honestly, with how trusted, or I guess nothing opposes it, he has a monopoly on providing information to the world. It doesn't even have to happen first in order for him to report that it's happening, to then kind of kick over the first domino. He's not waiting for the domino to fall. He's just kicking the bitch over. And it's like, oh yeah, we're actually killing all the Marines. And it's like, well, shit, I guess we're killing a bunch of Marines.
Yeah. And plus,
And
you're
it's like,
getting information from Stussy about the CP. Like, how does he know everything in Wano? Because CP0's there. In Stussy's CP0.
everyone.
You know what I mean? So he just
Well,
tells
yeah,
everybody what happened. But it's like,
and he gets it from other places too, though. I
that's
bet.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think a big question was like, how did he know about stuff in Wano? But I just made that connection myself with the Stussy thing. But he has hands everywhere, bro. Like
Sure.
he can probably dictate the future. Like some of these like revolutions where people are actually in fact fighting like Marines because of the bounty system from Cross Guild. Like he could talk about that more. But he's like, nah. Let's talk about Straw Hat. That's the big thing. Which is real. That's very real. That's very real. Like, oh no, don't worry about these revolutions. Like, look at this big war happening on Egghead. Look at all this stuff. Like, it's very real. But yeah. Any last thoughts on Big News Morgan?
I think he has a huge future to play. I think he's great at writing a narrative. So I think we're going to need him to sell this, because when you overthrow, even if it's an unjust regime, when you overthrow the regime, you will have people who think you're doing a wrong thing and they need to be corrected or re-educated on the situation. Having somebody who's trusted like a Morgan's could really go a long way with that. Seeing Luffy is going to go the longest way, though. So broadcasting Luffy's amazingness to the world would probably help more, but
He can't be worldwide until that big party where everybody parties at the same time, which is his one dream.
MTV Spring Break.
Bro, that would be wild. Wild, the whole world. But that's a video for another time. You guys let us know your thoughts on Big News Morgan down below. Don't forget to do all that social media stuff. We need the support. We love the support. We'll catch y'all next time.
Peace.